Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurnas Rabdi Ahmad, and I will expand on price elasticity of demand. So, price elasticity of demand measure the degree of responsiveness of the quantity demand for a particular good to the changes in price. In other words, it tells us how much the quantity demand will rise or fall when the price changes. More precisely, it is the percentage change in quantity demand relative to 1% change in price, ceteris paribus. And the formula for calculating the coefficient of price elasticity of demand is percentage change in quantity demands of goods X divided by percentage change in price of goods X. The second question, calculate the price elasticity of demand. Based on this question, Zeus Coffee increased the price of its Spanish latte from 9 ringgit to 10 ringgit. And as a result, the quantity demand falls from 1,000 cups per day to 800 cups per day. So here we can identify that QD0 is 1,000, QD1 is 800, P0 is 9 ringgit, and P1 is 10 ringgit. So just insert this amount into the formula. 800 minus 1,000, and divide by 1,000, and you will get negative 0.2. Then divide 9 by 10 minus 9, and you will get 9. So negative 2 times 9, you will get the amount 1.8. And we use the absolute value to exclude the negative sign. So the third question, identify whether the demand is elastic or inelastic. So when the price of Spanish latte rises from 9 ringgit to 10 ringgit, the quantity demand falls sharply from 1,000 cups to 800 cups. This represents a 20% decrease in demand compared to only an 11.1% increase in price. The calculated elasticity of demand is 1.8 as we excluded negative signs. And since this is greater than 1, we classify demand as elastic and it is relatively responsive. So to conclude, consumers are highly sensitive to price changes, and even a small increase in price leads to a larger drop in demand. And that's all from me.
My name is Nur Aisha Afika binti Muhammad Rizwan.
So next I'm going to talk about the cross elasticity of demand. First of all, you have to know what is cross elasticity of demand. So it refers to the measure the degree of responsiveness of the quantity demanded for particular goods with respect to the change in the price of another goods. Next, I'm going to show you the calculation of price elasticity of demand between Tea Life and Zeus Coffee. So, based on the question that I received, Tea Life reduced the price of its coffee from 9 ringgit to 7 ringgit per cup as a part of promotional campaign. As a result of this price reduction, the quantity demanded of Zeus Coffee decreased from 1 cup per week to 850 cups per week, since Zeus Coffee does not change its price during this period. Based on the information that I received from the question, I'll put the amount into the formula. So Q1, which is 850, minus original quantity 1000 divided by original quantity 1000 times original price 9 ringgit divided by P1 price divided by 7 ringgit minus 9 ringgit. We get 0.675. So based on the calculation of cross elasticity of the demand, it shows a positive coefficient which is 0.675. This indicates a direct relationship, which is when the price of Tea Life coffee falls from 9 to 7 ringgit, the quantity demand of Zeus Coffee also falls from 1,000 cups to 850 cups per week. Since the price of tea life coffee reduce or become cheaper, consumers switch away from Zeus coffee to enjoy a better deal at tea life.
My name is Nurul Shakira binti Muhammad Zaki. The third question for the assignment is Zeus Coffee run a promotion which is buy any coffee and get 20% of pastries. As a result, the price of pastries decreased from 5 ringgit to 4 ringgit per unit, and the quantity demand of Swiss coffee increased from 1,000 cups per week to 1,100 cups per week. So the first question is, what is cross elasticity of demand? So cross elasticity of demand is measure the degree of responsiveness of quantity demand for a particular goods with respect to change in the price of another goods. So in another word, it is a measure how quantity demand of one good respond to a change in the price of another goods. So the next question is, calculate the cross elasticity of demand between coffee and pastries. So for the calculation, we will use formula to calculate cross elasticity of demand. The formula is when the new quantity of demand minus with the old quantity demand, and we will divide the answer with the new quantity demand. Then we will multiply the answer with the new price of good divided with the new price of good minus with the old price of goods. So the calculation is 1,100 minus with 1,000, and we will divide it with 1,000. Then we will multiply the answer with 5 divided with 4 minus 5. So the answer is negative 0.5. So next, we will move on to the last question. So the last question is, explain the relationship between coffee and pastries. So based on our calculation earlier, when cross elasticity of demand, the relationship between coffee and pastries are complements. A decrease in the price of pastries increased the quantity demand of coffee by 0.5%. As we can see, based on the graph, the demand curve will shift downward, indicating an expansion in demand.
My name is Nurikana Aslia binti Alizam, and I will continue to income elasticity of demand. Move to the income elasticity of demand, which is YED. So what is income elasticity of demand? Income elasticity of demand measures how much the quantity demand of a good response to a change in consumer income. It is calculated as the ratio of the percentage change in quantity demand to the percentage change in income. The main purpose of YED is to identify the type of good, whether it is normal, luxury, essential, or inferior good, based on how demand change when income change. Based on the data, our customers experience a 10% increase in their monthly income, which led to a 12% increase in the demand for these coffee drinks. By using the formula, which is divide the percentage change in quantity by the percentage change in income, this gives us a YED value of 1.2. Since this value is greater than 1, we identify this coffee as a luxury good. This means that when income increases, consumers are more than willing to spend more on premium coffee. As you can see on the graph, an increase in income from Y1 to Y2 leads to an increase in quantity demand from QT1 to QT2. So you can see that the increase in the quantity demand is more than the increase in income. For example, imagine a student who usually drinks cheap 3-in-1 instant coffee. Once they get a 10% raise in their allowance, they don't just buy more instant coffee. Instead, they upgrade their lifestyle to Zeus coffee. That's why the increase in demand exceeds the increase in income. It provides that Zeus is a premium trade. The more people earn, the more they choose to spend Zeus coffee instead of basic option.
My name is Usman Najiha. I would like to explain about some questions about price elasticity of supply. The statement is, due to higher coffee prices, Zeus Coffee increases the selling price of drinks by 10%. However, due to limited baristas and machine capacity, quantity supply only increases by 5% in the short run. Question A. What is price elasticity of supply? Price elasticity of supply is measures the degree of responsiveness of the quantity supplied for a particular goods with respect to a change in the price. In other words, the percentage change in quantity supplied relative to a 1% change in price, ceteris paribus. Question B. Calculate the price elasticity of supply. The formula is percentage change in quantity supplied of goods divided by percentage change in P of goods. So it is equal to 0.05 divided by 0.1. Then we will get the price elasticity of supply is 0.5. Question C. Explain why supply is elastic or inelastic. Since the price elasticity of supply is less than 1, the supply is price inelastic. Supply will respond less to the price changes. The supply is inelastic because the time frame is in short run. The firm cannot quickly change its scale of production, so Zeus Coffee cannot immediately increase the number of baristas. Moreover, the supply is inelastic because limited machine capacity. This means that it's already in full capacity. Without enough machine capacity, Zeus Coffee cannot be increased. If we take a look at the graph, there is a steeper slope of supply curve. The percentage change in Zeus Coffee, which is P1 increased to P2, is larger than the percentage change in baristas and machine capacity, which is quantity 1 increased to quantity 2. A change in the price of Zeus Coffee causes a smaller percentage change in baristas and machine capacity.